Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dream Oracle for You. I am your host, Sarah, and as always, we have the lovely Billiana, my co host, on the episode. Today is episode 34, quickly approaching episode 35, which will be our live episode. Don't forget to register. Today, we have a very special guest. All of our guests are special, but I'm very excited today for Angie Walsh. And first, we'll hear from Billiana to welcome everyone to the episode, and then we'll hear from Angie and then start the conversation. Billiana, take it away.
Woo! Never gets old when you introduce the episode and then you're like, yeah, you're with your co-host. I'm like, yeah, makes me feel important.
You are important. I wouldn't have this
Yeah,
amazing.
it's a good it's a good reminder though, like that, we're even though we're doing it together, it's still a good, like it's a boost up, boost my
Awesome.
ego for the for the chat. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. I'm still on a high from our last episode, so hopefully this will be even that's extra step up. And yeah, super excited. And yeah, we'll just let it flow and happy to talk about anything and everything and dive deep. I love diving deep into things. So yeah, Angie, if you want to introduce yourself and we'll go from there.
No pressure. Well, I'm Angie Sudduth Walsh. I know you skipped over my maiden name there. It's okay. It's always been a sore spot. People can't pronounce it or spell it, but it's okay.
That was my reasoning. Sorry. I'm like, I don't want to butcher it. I'm just going to hope it's a middle name or something.
No, it's my maiden name. I wanted to keep it in there because, honor my dad and all that. So just keep it in for the professional reasons. Um, I'm my I don't know how to start. I'm psychic medium. I do soul coaching. I host Spiritual Chat Live, which you guys will be guest on in July, coming July 12th. Um, I I'm also starting spiritual development courses. They're officially starting in July, but I'm thinking of starting a course July or June 12th. And I'm also thinking of offering a special price for the June course because since it would be just a couple weeks away, so a discounted price for the course. So I'm should I go on and tell how much I'm going to charge for the course?
It's up to you. Advertisement, sure.
Whatever you want.
Well, the course is going to be 352 US dollars. But for June, I'm going to offer it for 225. And if somebody wants to make payments or if they're having financial difficulties, they can reach out to me and if they're really wanting to take the course. So, and we can make payment arrangements and all that because the course is it's for beginners and I would say intermediates. It's a 4-week course. Each class will be 2.5 to 3 hours each week. And it will start from the very basics of protecting your energy, reading soul frequencies, your auras, grounding, learning to meditate, telepathy, learning to do telepathy. It's a game that I played with my kids when they were young. Um, Meeting your guides, angels, crystals, tarot cards. Like it is everything. I do talk about dreams in the course as well. And by the last class, everyone is practicing doing readings because that's what it's building up to. There's also a portion in the second week where I teach people a little bit of my soul coaching because I feel it's very important for people to do that inner healing work because that helps you uncover your gifts and be able to evolve them even better. So if you have trapped emotions and all of that, you're not going to be able to use your gifts very well. So there's all that. And that's all. My courses are not up on my website yet. My website's TheOracleBlonde.com. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram as Angie Sudduth Walsh. I'm on, where else am I? TikTok. I think YouTube, but YouTube is Celasta Circle and it's Spiritual Chat Live. But trying to think where else. I'm on Twitter, but I use that for Lyme awareness and all of that. I'm conqueror of Lyme disease and all of that. So I don't know. I'm not very good at talking about myself. So
No, that's wonderful. And I'm sure that people will be very excited to take your course, especially at a discounted price. And that's a whole lot jammed into 4 weeks. That's pretty exciting.
It is a lot. It is a lot. I have done some test runs of it last year just to like kind of get a feel for it because I like to run through things. I'm also going to be offering a tarot development course later this year. It'll be starting in October. That is going to be, I was first going to do it as a 12-week course, but I'm going to break it up into two 6-week courses. The first part will be learning the cards, and then the second part will be learning spreads, which are all my spreads, and then practicing readings because I never could figure out tarot cards like I had to do it my way. So it's learning tarot Angie's way and taking the courses your way. So if you already know the cards, you don't have to take the card part. You can just take the spreads and practice the readings, or you can take both, whichever way you want to do it. Or if you take the spreads and and practice the readings and then be like, oh, well, I kind of need to like learn the cards better, then go back and take that. So it's I think it's gonna be fun. I've already done some practice runs with that course as well last year. So I'm ready to launch them. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for
Yeah.
people to sign
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
So
you have lots.
I don't have them up on my website yet. I'm hoping to have my website girl to have them up soon on there. But if not, people can just email me or reach out to me on social media. You can contact me on my website as well. So if you're interested
Perfect.
in
Yeah, and we'll have all of that details in the show notes as well, so
okay,
people
cool.
can they don't have to like pause and write everything down.
Yeah, that's always
Yeah,
that's what.
great. So where do we want to start with dreams? Usually, one question we just ask is like, what are dreams to you? And it's kind of a basic question, but
Well, dreams to me, because I do teach this in the spiritual development course, I think there's several different things. I use them as tools sometimes. When I need to have a question answered, I will set an intention before I go to sleep where I ask for the answer. And an important thing to remember is to say, please let me remember the answer when I awaken. Because I don't know how many times I set the intention and I dreamt the answer and then I forgot to say that. And when I woke up, I forgot what it was. So you always want to set the intention and then ask to remember it when you awaken. Keep a dream journal next to your bed so that you can write your dreams down. I feel like dreams are um, not only, there's several different things, is what we replay things out, like the past when we're healing, we're going through healing cycles, we'll replay the past out. Maybe you try to work things out that way in your dreams. There are also premonitions. I get premonition dreams a lot. If I dream something twice, I know it's coming. If I dream it 3 times, I know it's 100% coming. That's how my premonition dreams work, especially if it's about a tornado or something. I don't know how many times I've had tornado dreams. And a tornado has come. There's what else with the dreams? Foretelling, like a lot of my dreams are foretelling. I've been having a lot of dreams, weird dreams lately. Since I was a teenager, I've fought demons and entities in my dreams. I'd wake up with marks on my body and stuff where I would be fighting. So, we're in a spiritual war right now. And so I don't know if you guys do that. Do you guys do that? Do you fight in your
oh,
dreams?
oh yeah, I do a lot of healing in my dreams as well, like healing other people.
Yeah.
Um, I not necessarily like face to face combat in a dream, but I definitely have had sensations where I felt something trying to come into my energy field, and then I'm just having to and I'm like consciously aware of that while I'm dreaming, and then have to clear them out.
Yeah. I think that I had a lot last night because I couldn't sleep and I was tossing and turning. And then I've had interruptions. I've had 2 phone calls. My dog is like about to bark, and I'm like, oh, they're getting me this morning.
Do you guys ever, how about when you're going to sleep? And I hate this part. When you're going to sleep and I don't know if it's called lucid dreaming or what it's called, but it's like you're not astral traveling yet, but it's like you're in this, I don't know, you're in this in between. And sometimes entities come in and they try to attack you. Or recently I had where I was trying to help someone cross over, and it was like I was in this in between. It was where you're not really you're not asleep, but you're not awake either, but you are experiencing a dream cycle. Like, it's very, very
Yeah.
weird, and I don't like it at all. I really don't like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I know what you mean. It's hard to explain, but yeah, no, I get, yeah, the feeling. Yeah.
I just call on Jesus to help me in those moments, and it seems like it just snaps me out of it. Like, it all just stops whenever I say Jesus. So, um, and I don't know, I guess it's just the power of his name or power of believing, or, whatever.
Yeah, I think it's for you. It's because you believe that 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 is going to help you, I guess. For me, I just call on source. I call on the creator or whatnot, and then that's usually I try to like fight it off myself first, but then like last resort, I'm like, okay, come on, source, do something, deal with this. This is not like I didn't consent to this. That's usually the biggest thing you can say is like I do not consent.
Yeah. You do not consent, you do not comply. He's an ascended master. He's one of my guides. So I don't know, like, I don't associate with a religion or any of that stuff. So I don't know if I probably get into troubles talking about all this, but like, that's how I view him. He's a guide for me, and I call on him for help, or to get, I don't know, when I need acknowledgement. He's one of my guides. I have angels, I have archangels, I have other guides. So I have like a spiritual team.
Yep.
So when I am working either in readings or coaching, or even when I'm going on a walk, I can feel all of them walking with me. It's like I have my team with me all the time. So, you know, I don't know. Archangel Michael's around a lot too, so he's pretty fierce.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I I wonder sometimes if my guides are bored because I don't call on them as much. I usually just work directly with my higher self or with source. I kind of but anyway. um
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
just
the
gonna
same too.
with what just your higher self and source.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and part of my reasoning for that is early in my awakening process, I let things in that I thought were guides and that were something nice, and they turned out to not. They were just pretending. So my way to just make sure I know who I'm communicating with, it's just yourself, and we're always connected to source. So like those are the two connections that I trust and that I can be firm in. But everybody has their own ways and modalities, and you know there's nothing wrong with calling in guides or anything like that. It's just everybody has their own way, which is part of the journey too.
Yeah, everybody, I mean, there's no right or wrong way. And connecting to some people have a hard time connecting to their higher self. And there's like ways to do that, within learning, opening your gifts and all that. So once you connect to your higher self, then that's like a direct connection to source. So once you're connected fully to your higher self, then you are connected to source. So really there is no need, you're right, there is no need to have guides or any other thing. But sometimes guides will come in because maybe you're going to be doing something where you're going to need some help, some spiritual help with something that you're working with. I will tell you that in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, I haven't really had like the guides that I had, they've went away. I know I'm awaiting a new guide coming in. I know he's a male energy, but I haven't met him yet. So I've been going to these astral bars. I would call them bars, like restaurants or something, where I'm like in my sleep. And there's all these other, I don't know, they're different beings and stuff that are there, but it's just different. He hasn't shown himself to me. He's been to my side, or I've felt the energy, but he hasn't presented himself to me yet. So he must be pretty intense or something. I don't know. I'm like, I'm ready for you to come.
Talk more about the astral bar. Do you visit this astral bar more often?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you about this this dream that, yeah, I actually have. Like in the last 6 months, I've been there 3 times. So this every time, let me think about which. Okay, so I'll tell you about the dream where I was driving this car and I crash it. So then I walk into the bar and all the tables and stuff, they're elevated. So I go up and I sit at one, and I'm very specific about saying I want organic tomatoes. Don't know why, but I do. And so there's this male energy that's sitting to my left, but I don't see him, and I know he's my guide that's coming in. But all around me, it was like, in the movie, like Guardians of the Galaxy or Star Wars, where there's all these different beings that are in this. That's what it was like. There was all these different beings there, and they were all friendly. Nobody was, trying to eat me or anything. Everybody was just friendly. And and I was talking to everyone. And I had some numbers appear in the dream, like 44. And so I know their messages, 4 like archangels and 4 grounding foundation, like, different things. But I also had, like my mom was supposed to be coming to pick me up from this bar. How that would happen, I don't know. But like, it was like I was waiting. I was waiting at the bar, but I was being served organic tomatoes. That was very strange. But the other time where I went to this bar there was a being there, and she was very tall. She was about 12 feet tall. And it was like a party was happening. And she communicated to me we touched foreheads.
That was cool.
So when I went up to her, she was like, we touched foreheads. And I was like, okay. But it kind of makes sense with third eye chakra there and all of that. But and there was another being that was shorter than her, probably about 8 feet tall. And again, touched foreheads. But then there was a bunch of other people around that I knew that had passed away. And it was like my dad was there, and there was like my grandma, there was different people, but they were just walking around. I didn't communicate with them or anything. But it's very strange. It's very strange. I don't know if this is somewhere I go, when I'm on the other side, like a place I hang out or something, or I don't know. It's just strange to me that I go there. I feel like I go there to get messages, and I haven't been there. The last time I think it was in March, the end of March maybe is the last time I had a dream there, because I keep a dream journal of when I have all these cool things happen. So I've been asking since when I go to sleep, let me remember why I'm going there, because I'm just remembering these little blips of things, and I know that there's a reason why I'm going there, and I'm not remembering it. So I don't know. Do you guys get anything?
Yeah, it's good question.
There's something in that the when you mentioned the Star Wars thing, because I was reading something this morning about that, and it was what's the line about the forces within you? Is that
Ooh.
the
May the force be with you.
yeah, that's the one.
With you. Yeah.
So I don't know what that is, but like that for me, that's just an indicator. Like I'm in the right place, and we're having the right conversation. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. It's
What do you think the organic tomatoes mean? Like to you, what does an organic tomato mean? Like not the dream aside, just in general.
Well, there was like, how many was there on my plate? I didn't bring my dream journal over to me. I think there was 8 of them on my plate. So, but they were like really fresh, and they tasted really good. They looked good. I think it's like I think it's a good auspicious meaning with the tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's anything bad.
No. It's just when trying to decode dreams, that's one of the like clearly the tomato stood out to you because that was like one of the first things you mentioned in the dream.
Yeah.
So when symbols stand out, the question to ask is like, well, what does that mean to me? And just as like an aside, when you were talking about you're having tornado dreams and they're more for you, a tornado dream is often a prophetic dream, and that it means that a tornado is actually going to come. I have a history of tornado dreams, but it doesn't actually mean that a tornado is coming, especially now where I live in Canada and there's not, likely to be tornadoes. But I did have tornado dreams when I lived in Florida, which was, a very common thing to have happen in Florida. For me, tornado dreams represented fear because I was actually afraid of being in a tornado or whatnot.
Just
So,
clarify, when I have a prophetic dream, I always know it's a prophetic dream because it's very short. It's very short and I sit straight up in the bed. And so that's how I know it's a prophetic dream. I should have clarified that. I'm sorry.
no.
So,
Well, I'm just
um,
saying that, like, for you, like, I mean, maybe not, but in that case with having a tornado, it was a prophetic dream for you. But if I were to dream about a tornado, it would not mean that a tornado is coming. Like, I wouldn't necessarily be having a prophetic dream. So what I'm getting at is that symbols are or messages that come through dreams and symbols are very much unique to the person. And so that's why I was asking, what do
well,
red tomatoes mean for you? Organic
I don't
tomatoes
know,
mean for
like
you?
organic, I eat very healthy, organic. I eat organic, very healthy. Like I love tomatoes. I know they're very good for you. For me, I don't I don't know why I was very like I was even yelling to the chef in the back in the kitchen that to make sure all my ingredients, because I was getting some kind of Mexican dish. I don't eat Mexican that often, so I don't know what that was either. But like I was, make sure all my ingredients are organic, like because I think part of that is that part may tie into where I always am conscious about. I don't eat out very much. Like I eat at home because I'm always conscious about what I eat because I'm so sensitive to everything. I have to have everything organic just from having the Lyme and all of that. So, but the tomatoes, like I want to say there was 8 on my plate, and I was very happy about them. I was like, "Ooh, these look very good, like they're very fresh and red, and they were, they looked really good." And there was 44. The number 44 was on this big tablet type of thing. I mean, it was huge. It was like like your cell phone, but it was like really big. It wasn't like a tablet, but it was like big, and it was being shown this number 44 on the tablet. So,
Eight
an 8,
tomatoes, 44.
yeah,
44 is also 8. So the 8 energy was coming through.
right.
8 energy is usually a gateway energy, isn't it?
Well, 8 is like, a manifesting energy. So being able to manifest, and I don't know, I think I feel like I'm being prepared.
Hmm.
That makes sense. Prepared for everything that's coming because I've worked really hard. I've worked
Yeah.
really hard. My health is finally getting on track. I feel I'm finally healing at a cellular level. I feel like everything is finally coming together. Maybe that's what the tomatoes went. Like the tomatoes have they have so many vitamins and minerals. Like if you haven't eaten and say you're craving tomatoes or you're craving pizza because you're wanting the tomato sauce or the tomato paste or whatever, it's because you're lacking vitamins and minerals. Maybe that's something with it. Like maybe it's because everything is coming together because my health is on track. Like everything is finally coming together, being in place, maybe that's all the manifesting that I've been doing for many years now. Everything's coming together, been open to receive all of that. I don't know. I don't
Well,
have,
you've pretty
I
much decoded it yourself
right?
just by talking about
when I
it. Like,
when I
and
ramble,
yeah, as you were like talking about, it was like it sounds um, like you've gone through having Lyme's disease, and having to like be conscious about your food and stuff. And for me, it just seemed like you're very like affirming about like your health. And it's just showing you, even with the numbers coming up, that you're on the right track, and just to keep
yeah,
doing that. Like, don't get distracted or like think having a lapse day is okay. Like, just be strong. That's kind of where I was getting.
because the 4 energy is about health as well. Like
Yeah.
someone that's very health conscious and a healer and all of that. So yeah, I think you're right. Probably, yeah. No, I know that I'll never be able to not have a maintenance protocol and take care of my health every day. I'll always have to do that. I'll have to rest. I have 5 energy,
Yeah.
so I always have to respect my 5 energy. So, yeah,
Yeah, see, everyone's got their own like answers. Well, and that's what I love about doing this podcast, even talking to people, is you like start talking about your dream and you end up decoding it yourself because it's just having someone to bounce ideas off, like,
yeah,
because it seems like you're pretty like in tune with yourself anyway. So, you know,
yeah.
yeah, awesome.
Sometimes though you get stuck, you can be
Yes,
with
yeah,
yourself and still be like, I don't know what that meant.
Well, yeah, no.
that's okay.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. And it's good to have
Yeah,
people to bounce things off of, you know. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And ultimately, I mean, dreams are messages from yourself to yourself, right? It's how I feel. So, it really the only person who could truly decode a dream is yourself. Um, but like this conversation just allows you to like we said, bounce ideas around and just be able to you're gonna know what the true meaning of your dream is just because it's just gonna resonate. It's gonna feel true. Um,
yeah.
it's it's actually the whole reason why we started this podcast because I've always been fascinated by dreams and you wake up you have this like crazy dream you're like oh what did that mean and what do you go and you go Google it or you pick up a dream interpretation book and you read it and you're like meh kind of but like it just didn't feel right and that's what really sparked me to want to do this podcast is to not only learn how to interpret and decode messages myself, but then just to be able to share and encourage others to, hey, pay attention to your dreams. There's messages coming and
you're right,
Yeah.
though. It is your higher self talking to you, trying to get you to be aware of things or, hey, you might need to look out for this or this is coming up or whatever. I know years ago, I see them on my bookshelf over there. I found two dream books they're very old because I got them in the 90s and they really helped me with being able to learn how to decipher everything about the dream. So, was it raining? Was the sun shining? Was the moon out? Was the moon covered with clouds? If it was at the beach, how was the ocean? Was it a calm day at the ocean or was it a stormy ocean? I mean, like, in just like with the tomatoes, were the tomatoes fresh? Were they ripe or were they, moldy? Were they going bad? And if you ate them, how did they taste? Even with fruit, I know if you have dreams about, like fruit, if it's spoiled or rotten, it's supposed to be a bad omen, like of things to come. But if it's good, then it's an auspicious omen. So there's all different kinds, and like having dreams about spiders, that's actually a good luck dream. There's so much. So those two books really helped me. I can go grab them if you guys want me to. I know it'll mess up this whole thing, but that we got going on. But they really helped me in the beginning to figure out like that every detail in the dream, like, you know, did you have shoes on? What kind of clothes were you wearing? Like, because every part of the dream matters. And that really helped me learn how to decipher about dreams. And then that helped me build on to learning like how I figured out when I was having a prophetic dream, how I figured out when I was just dreaming about my day, or I was, if I was really just truly having a nightmare or, reliving something. So that I think when you start to decipher your dreams and keeping a dream journal is how, and looking at all the details, even the time of year that you have the dream. Say right now we're in June. If you dream about Christmas, that's a message. It's actually a good thing to dream about Christmas. If you're dreaming about snow in June, of course, for you, Billiana, you're going into winter now. So it means something
How
different for
much
you.
snow here?
Oh, yeah, you don't get snow where you live in Australia,
Not,
right?
not really. No, a lot of Australia you don't get a lot of snow. It's really just on the mountains there.
Okay.
So
Where are you in
yeah,
Australia?
Victoria. Do you know where Melbourne is?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So between Melbourne and Sydney. Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's even like the time of day that you dream. Was it morning, afternoon, night? All of that like can play into interpreting the dream. So, but I don't think it's bad to get a dream book. I find I don't use Google. I don't like Google, but I find like going on like DuckDuckGo or even Yandex.com, like those are good sources sometimes, but I'm kind of old school. I like having a book in my hand. I like reading a book. I've always been a bookworm. So I
yeah,
like to find, I tend to like older books because I think the older books have like deeper, more profound meanings than the newer
yeah,
books. So,
yeah, yeah. I agree with that. And it's not so much you need the answer to what that specific symbol is. It's more so like you're saying, like, if there's questions that you can ask yourself,
yes.
that's a more empowering thing rather than being told, oh, an apple means this and a
Yes.
spider means this. I love spiders, so it's always going to be a good dream for me. Whereas
Right.
my sister is scared of spiders, so if she was to dream of them, she'd be like, it'd be a bad dream. So yeah, like books like that, if they got really good questions and you can ask yourself, um, and using like when you've had a dream, like recognizing your different senses. Like, did you hear something?
Yes.
Not just seen, smell. Did you feel anything? Even when you wake up, how you felt. Those sorts of things. And I write all that down, like time of day that I woke up, and maybe the moon phase.
Yes.
It's an energetic thing. Any symbols I see, and I draw the symbol, and all those sorts of things. Uh, can be helpful. So yeah, it's yeah.
I,
What are the books that you've got
let me go
for
get them. Hang on.
anyone that's interested? Yeah, yeah, grab them. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was fast. Good job.
They're all beat up. So they're coming apart. I've had to tape them and stuff. Ooh, I don't know if I
Yeah, just
great
hold it in front of you.
in
There
front of
you
me.
go.
There we go.
Yeah,
This one, it's called,
Dreamer's Dictionary.
yeah, the Dreamer's Dictionary.
Who's
And
that by?
this is by Lady Stearn Robinson and Tom Corbett. And I want to say this was, let me see when it was done. Where is it? Where's the date? Well, it was originally done in 1975, but I got it in 94. I'm telling you guys my age. So this was
Cool.
the first, this was the first one I got. And then I got this one. And this one
Australian
goes a
Dream.
little more in detail, but they kind of work, these two, they kind of work together. This one is the Illustrated Dream Dictionary by Russell Grant. And this one was originally done, let's see, is it going to tell me? I don't, 91.
Yeah, cool. Good year.
Sweet.
Yeah. You born in 91?
I was one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And published in 96. So I got both these in the 90s, but I'm telling you, they're really good. And like, see, this one will go through like every part of your body. I know you guys can't read it, but it will go through like every part of your body. Like if you had a dream where you were dreaming about your fingernails or your eyes, like something was in your eye, or you had your eyes crossed, or maybe for the longest time I was having dreams where my teeth were falling out. That's a sign of like you've got something wrong with your health. And so for me, that was spot on. But what else? Oh, I was gonna tell you, I do have like two really strange dreams I could tell you guys about since we are on a dream podcast. Um, there is this one dream I always have. It's very surreal. It's a beach, and I go to this beach. It always seems like I go there when troubling times are coming, and I'm always it's a it's a weird place. It's always a stormy day at the beach. There's always storms coming. I'm always trying to prepare for the storm, and I'm talking like a hurricane's coming. It's not like just a storm. It's always storms coming. My family will be there. Whomever is going to be having trouble, or if there's a death coming, I go to this beach. The last time I was at this beach was um, in February, I think. And I've had 2 deaths in the family since then. And this was the strange part. I slept in my socks, which I hardly ever do. And I woke up and I was missing a sock. And I remembered I left a sock at the beach because I had my socks on at the beach and I took them off when I was there. And that sock was missing. And I was telling a friend about it. And I'm like, I've looked everywhere for that sock. It's not in my bed. It's not under the bed. It's nowhere. I can't find it. She's like, oh, it'll turn up. Just wait. When you go back to the beach, you'll get it. Well, I haven't been back to the beach. But one morning, that sock was on the floor next to my bed. So I don't even know how, like it just appeared. So it's crazy. But I go to that beach. It's very strange. Whenever something is coming that's not good, I have dreams at that beach. And I'm always trying to work out what's coming. And there's always a hurricane or a big storm, tornado, whatever. Not tornado, but like the big storm coming at the beach. So, and a lot of water, always like a lot of water. Like I'm trying to escape the water where it's flooding or whatever. So, um, what was the other one I was going to tell you about that was very strange that I had? I have very weird dreams. We could be here all day. I could tell
Oh,
you.
that's great. I I mean, I'd like to just have a couple comments on the first one before we go to the second one, if you
Yeah,
don't mind.
go ahead.
The fact that the sock is missing, the thing that came through for me is dimension travel. And like, sometimes when things go missing, it can be a mischievous entity that is just like kind of taken it and either moved it somewhere, but sometimes things can like actually disappear into a different dimension. And so the words that came through for me for that was dimensional travel. Not sure if that resonates with you. And that the beach is a safe place, which is why you go there to kind of like, we know something's coming, so you go to the beach. It's a safe place for you, and then that's where you can like just be and then figure things out, kind of thing.
The beach is my happy place, but whenever I have this dream, it's never a happy situation. It's always like trying me and whomever's in the dream with me, whether it's my family or whatever. It's this last time it was my mom was there, my brother was there, his family was there. We were all trying to escape flooding, and like I had an aunt that was there, and she was the one that ended up she was sick. I knew she was going to pass, but it was like it's like I'm trying to save people.
Mm.
And when I'm at this beach and I know that I can't save them.
But you
So
might be like helping them on a soul level though. So
I am,
it's like you're traveling there with their higher selves, and you're in a safe place because you're at the beach, and then you're just kind of
yes.
dealing with the
Had a I had a reading with a lady that does astrology. Um, her name's Layla Angel, and she told me that I'm a soul midwife, which I have like a long list of jobs that I'm here to do. And I'm like, great, I have another job because I had 2 aunts pass recently, and I was helping both of them cross, apparently. And I said, so this soul midwife job, I said, is this for like everyone in the world? Because it was not fun. The dreams that I had where I was helping them, it was not fun at all. It was quite torturous, and um, I don't even know how to describe it. But she said I was to do it for family members and people that I considered family. So, and I have to say that it's kind of made me nervous and upset since, because to know that I'm going to be doing this in the future, because it was not pleasant. But I did like help them cross, which I've always helped souls and other entities go where they need to go. But this was different. This was the first time I've ever done anything like this. I don't know if it was something with moving up in a soul frequency. I don't know. It's been all new, but it's in my chart. So I'm like, well, it's in my chart, so I guess it's legit. So I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah, no, I definitely have not heard of. I mean, somebody who helps souls move along, definitely, but not heard the term a soul midwife before.
Yeah. You guys should get readings from her. She blew me away. Telling you. And it's rare that that happens, I'm just going to say. But yeah.
Did you think of the second dream?
It's like escaped me, but if we talk, maybe it will come back. So
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have interrupted. I just wanted to. I'm like, if I don't ask now, I might forget my question. So
okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about like how you dream? Like we always ask our guests, like, do you dream in color? Your point of view, like is it you, third person, bird's eye view, or that
Um,
sort of thing?
it depends. Um, I do mostly dream in color. Let's see. If I'm dreaming, if I'm receiving, okay, so when I have coaching sessions, a lot of times I will have dreams after the coaching session that night about my client, and I will be dreaming about them, and it will be me, but then I will be over here, if that makes sense. So I'm like observing the dream while having the dream. And then I will deliver the message to them because it will be something that they will need to work out. I will do that in other ways too when I'm receiving messages. It's like I can tell you a really weird story from years ago. There's no way to validate this, but I can tell you what happened. So years ago, I was watching Montel Williams. Do you guys know what that show
Oh
was? Okay.
yeah. Oh my goodness. I had me some Montel time way back in the day.
Okay. So it was like Sylvia Brown Wednesday, right? So like every Wednesday he had her on, and like I read all her books. I was watching. They were talking about Natalie Holloway. And so they were like, if you have any information on this case, like call in. Well, I had received messages about it. And I had a dream where it wasn't me, but it was me. This is one of those times where I was having a dream where it was me, but it wasn't me. It was like I was in a cage, like with these bamboo type bars. There was, it was like I don't know where it was, what country it was, but there was all dirt on the ground and there was other cages around and stuff too. So, you guys might have to edit this out. I don't know, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
I don't edit anything, so you just gotta
Okay.
let it go. We won't edit a conversation if we were meeting for coffee, right?
Right, that's true. So there was other cages around and stuff. So I called into the show and I got through. And so they said, okay, hold on. They put me on hold. And so producer, somebody came on, asked me, I told them, they put me on hold again. They came back and they had somebody else ask me again. I told them, and I sat there for the longest time waiting for them to come back on I thought I was going to get put through on the show. Do you know they disconnected me? Mm-hmm. So that's my little story on it.
Oh, so they just disconnect.
Mm.
It's like I was like waiting for the punchline. I was like, well, they just disconnected you, and they like.
Up on me. Yeah, so I'm thinking I had some very telling information.
Hmm.
Yes.
And
Wow.
to be honest, that's haunted me for a long time because I feel like I had some information and I wasn't able to give it. So, you know,
Hmm. Well, maybe we can talk about that more offline. Because that's
Yeah.
I need a little bit of time to ponder on that one, and then I'd have questions. So
now the other thing is I have worked on some police cases, not a lot, but I have worked on some, and I would be awakened at different times in the night with messages where I would be awakened with the messages. I would also receive messages in my sleep. So I get all different things with dreams and all of that. So I would have dreams about this one this one case I was working on, I would have dreams about this church, and kept seeing this big R on the side of the road. Well, it ended up being, and I had no idea where I was leading the police or the search and rescue people to. I was just telling them, turn here, go here, go here. I don't know. And it was far away from where the person had went missing. And it turned out the big R was like a ranch that was, and then as we passed the ranch, we went down and the road came to a T. They're like, which way? And I'm like, go left. And as we went left, we went down because they kept saying, is it that church? Is it that church? I'm like, nope, nope, nope. Because I had this vision. I dreamt of the vision of the church. Found the church. There was a graveyard that I had said there was a graveyard next to the church. I mean, everything was ringing true. So I receive messages and dreams like that too. So
super powerful.
Do your messages only come through dreams, or do they come in other ways?
I come when I'm awake too. I mean, I can
Yeah.
ask like people, you can, like my son, he'll call me and he'll say, Mom, what do you see with this? And I'll just get the answer. If people ask me a yes or no question, I immediately get yes or no, or sometimes maybe, if it's a maybe kind of answer. But yeah, it's awake or asleep. I'm pretty much on 24/7. If I have to turn my gifts off to have a break.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
How does it feel when you turn yourself off for a break?
How does it feel?
Yeah.
It's nice. I have to do it when I go out in public, because otherwise, like, I have strangers just coming up to me telling me their life stories, or, like.
It's like you have a beacon over your head, like you can talk to her.
Yeah, it's like I have this bright light. So it's like, it's almost like what I do is I just turn myself down, or I like try to cloak myself. And I set a timer where I'm like 30 minutes in the store, in and out. Like I got to be in 30 minutes. Like no one talk to me. Like I just bring all my energy in, and I always protect myself. I always protect my energy all the time. But I have what I call a shield. So I call it my Wonder Woman shield, but I will have the shield up all the time. But when I go out in public and I don't want to be bothered, I will just reinforce that shield so that it's no one can see me, and it works.
Do you do that for your dreams as well?
I do sometimes when I need to get sleep, because especially when I was pregnant, like my gifts heightened so much. I could not get sleep. Spirits were in my room all the time, and they would not leave me alone. And so I would say, like, please just let me get some sleep. So I would have to really protect, like power down and like shield myself. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it wouldn't, like, especially when I was pregnant, because it was like, I'm telling you this, because your gifts get max to the max. It's crazy. So yeah.
Look out.
Get ready.
Well, it's interesting when you talked about their spirits being in the room and stuff like that. I actually had a experience last night that I've never have, like when I've had entities or anything that's trying to like get into my energy field or something like that. It's always happened when I'm like kind of pretty much in a dream state, or pretty deep in sleep, and that's when that's happened. But last night it was like I was asleep, but I was awake, if that even makes any sense. And my arm was like out hanging over the edge of the bed. And I felt this, like, it felt like a cold, I can't quite describe it, but it was almost like my arm was submerged in something cold, like an air of coldness, like wrapped around my arm, and it like just moved my arm. And I didn't get any sense that it was like something nefarious or anything. I feel like it might have been like a guide or a loved one or something just trying to let me know that they were there. But it was super interesting because all of my interactions with anything metaphysical has always been just kind of how I feel internally, if you know what I mean, like kind of like this connection. And that was the first like real physical thing that I ever felt, apart from like dream experiences and feeling things in my dream. But that was like, this was, I actually like saw my arm move and like, and I actually felt the coldness in my arm. So that was quite interesting.
The coldness, the cold temperature is usually a good indicator that there's a spirit energy in the room. That doesn't mean that it's a negative or, dark energy. That just means there's, what I was feeling was it could be your unborn child
Yeah.
visiting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know that I talk to him all the time. I know that that he's there. It could be that.
Yeah.
I also like when I went to back to sleep, um I basically because I was getting the sense from that like that it was a a good spirit or a good entity, whatever it was. And so I set the intention when I went to sleep, back to sleep, to if there's a message that I'm supposed to receive that clearly I'm not getting during waking hours, because my lights have also been flicking a lot the last couple of days, and I haven't like taken the moment to like, okay, who's here? What's going on? So that happening with my arm last night, I was like, okay, there's clearly something trying to get my attention. And so I asked for it to come through a dream. And the dream I had, I don't remember full the details, but my grandfather was there and he was like at the back of a truck and he was offloading flowers. And I don't remember what type of flowers they were. They were all the same except one was a red poppy. And I still haven't like fully decoded it, but I thought, oh, well, maybe the poppy is like because it represents my grandfather and probably it's just sending love, just to like, hey, we're here kind of thing. So anyway, yeah.
I was gonna say I thought the lights flickering was your grandfather, and then when you said you had the dream with your grandfather,
Yeah.
and that's funny because before you said what kind of flower, I saw a poppy flower. So
Yeah.
I mean, I saw other flowers too, but I saw a red poppy. Was it a red?
Yeah, it was a red poppy. And I think the other flowers were red too, but I don't remember what
Yeah,
type they were. It was the poppy that stood out. And I was like, oh, poppy pop, that's probably the message and then he was giving it to me kind of thing. So yeah,
yeah. That's funny
cool.
because I called my one grandfather, I called him Poppy.
Hmm. It's funny though. I if he really wanted to, I mean, he was in the dream though. So like, you know, but I used to call,
You asked for a message though. You asked for
yeah,
what it meant and you received it.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
So don't question
usually happens. um, but I used to call my grandfather Skipper. So like, if he really wanted to like impress me in a dream, he should like somehow convey the message Skipper, and then that would be really, really funny. Um, I did have a question. Let's see if I can remember where it was now. Um, oh, when we asked about like the perspective that you're dreaming, and you had mentioned that it was like it was you, but like looking through your eyes, but they weren't your eyes. They were actually like you were basically it's like you were not in somebody else, but you were taking the perspective of somebody else. And that's really fascinating because I don't think, Billiana, we've had anybody discuss that scenario before. We always talk about the observer, or you're like kind of you're either watching the dream from the side, or you're watching yourself play out something, or it's just you actively in the dream. But for you to be actively as a different player in the dream, let's say, that's quite interesting.
it's
And
strange.
yeah, and so
I think it happens though. It doesn't happen all the time, but I think it's for me in certain situations for me to be able to actually see what's going on, to see details or certain things that I would need to tell people in the waking moment.
right, yeah. Sorry, I was a little distracted by your hand gesture turned on the Zoom hand.
It's automatic.
Yeah,
Automatic. Put your hand
My
up.
hands are not. My laptop will do that sometimes. Like I don't know why it does that. And look, it just went off by itself too. Why does it do that?
it's
Someone's
the
here messing with it.
no, it's there's some some features of Zoom have it so you can turn off the gestures or turn them on. So like if you were to like give a thumbs up, it would actually put a thumbs up reaction.
Wow. Did I lift my hands?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You held your
Yeah.
hand up and then it like
But I did it a minute ago and it's not doing it. Okay.
it's weird. But sometimes it happens like right at like a particular moment and you're like, whoa, somebody's like trying to confirm what I just said.
I know, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So with that, like the way you're like perceiving through someone else, could you say that it's like sort of a form of remote viewing as well?
Hmm.
Like you're looking down on a situation. I've never had through someone else, but I do it like through myself and it's looking at a situation. But yeah, is that something? Because I haven't looked into other remote viewers. Do they do it like that through someone else?
Um, I don't know. I can remote view. I do
Yeah.
the remote viewing like that in my dreams. When I'm awake, I can do remote viewing two ways. I can do it either, there we go, with the hand.
Mhm.
I can do it by looking, if someone shows me a picture and says, tell me, what's inside this mountain or what's inside, here or whatever, I can do it that way. Or I can do it where someone tells me, because I teach this too. Um, I'll be talking to someone on the phone and they'll say, where am I? What am I wearing? Like, I can do it that way too. So it party trick, like
Real good party trick.
I like to mention it every now and then because like everyone has the ability to do it, and it's like we all need to start recognizing that we have these gifts. Some we're better than others, but we all have the same abilities. It's just recognizing that, just work on it. So I like to mention it
Yeah.
because it's
yes.
not like a special few that can do it. Yeah.
No, everyone
So
can. Everyone can remote view. Everyone can speak telepathically. Everyone, like all of the gifts that I've been talking about here, that Sarah's been talking about, that you've been talking about, everyone can do this. And that's why I tell people like it's so important to do that inner soul work, because if you have all those toxic emotions blocking your gifts, and you have anger, you have fear or whatever, you don't trust yourself, you don't trust your gut, you're not going to be able to do any of that. They're
No.
blocked. So
yeah,
you have to unblock. You have to unblock. And that's,
yeah.
I don't know any other way around it. And anyone that tells you you can bypass that,
No.
they're wrong.
No, I that definitely resonates with me. And I think there's like an extra layer or like a parallel thing for that. And that is all of these gifts come from your intuitive side. And we are just inherently is not the right word. The system and the construct that we're under has really trained all of us to be dominant in our logic side of the brain and to really suppress the intuition. And so when you're doing that inner soul work, you are working intuitively to do that. You can't logic your way through soul work. You just can't. You have to work with your heart. You have to work with your intuition.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to point that out, that the soul work is definitely important, but it's also the intuitive side that you have to you need both sides. You need your logic side of your brain and the intuitive
Yeah.
side, but
Yeah.
you kind of like Biba said in the episode yesterday. She's just like so amazing. The episode yesterday was just it was great. But she said that she makes her logic side of the brain take a back seat. Just take a back seat, and she lives completely by her intuition. She's like, she tells her logic side, she's like, you can worry about what we're gonna make for dinner. you know?
He's right though, because
Yeah.
in, I don't know, like, because of all the stuff I've been through with Lyme, years ago, I was concentrating so much on the physical, on healing the physical. And like, there has to be more that I'm not doing. And that's where I got into, like, I prayed and I asked for, I asked source, I asked creator, what am I not doing? And that's where I received this release and refill exercise that I do that was my starting point for healing within at the soul level. And it is a mind, body, heart, and soul thing, connection to healing. Once you're balanced that way, you have to do your shadow work. You don't lose your shadow, you get it into balance. You have your yin and your yang, you have your masculine and your feminine. When you got that into balance, then your gifts can emerge, and you can hone those and figure out what your gifts are. We all have all of these gifts, and some people have stronger gifts that they can do cool things with it maybe you can't do, but you are able to do some things with it. Like, it's just, I feel like I've been sitting up on Oracle Mountain waiting for everybody to come into their gifts so we can all work together and, like, do what we're supposed to do. So it's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Yeah, I so agree with that. Like, I had a dream the other night, and I set my intention that I just said, what is it that I need to know in this moment? And I come back with like a previous friendship that I had no longer like friends with, and just it's more so like the feelings I have around that. Like, there's guilt around that. So I think for me, like, I just feeling crap in my body, like unhealthy, and it's not to do with the like food. Yes, that's important, but also I think it's shifting, like, and releasing that guilt and not holding on to that, like, the suffering, to let that go. And so recognizing that as well, you got to let go of emotions and acknowledge them as well. So you know having everything is connected. So for yourself, going through such a big part of your life, you would have had to focus on different things, not just your health, not just the physical part. So
And I think
yeah.
they're like, a lot of people will say, well, I released anger, I released fear. But I think people don't understand that one emotion is caused by and connected to many things. So if you put that emotion in a wheel, the wheel has many spokes on it. So that one
Yeah.
emotion is caused by and connected to many different things. And you have to release that emotion many different times. And it can be caused by and connected to past lives. I was just sitting here
Yeah.
thinking, like, what do you guys think? Isn't dreaming kind of like remote viewing in a
Yeah.
way?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in a sense.
Well, it's if you are intentionally like focusing on something, but
Sure.
like if people are not, I suppose, intentionally like trying to find out what their dreams are, and they're just having dreams.
I mean, like when your
I
gifts
don't
are
know.
first opening up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like what your higher self or your soul is wanting to show you in those particular moments. But
It's
we
like an
def
aspect of it. I don't think you're knowingly doing it, but I think
yeah.
it's like an aspect of it. It's trying, feel like your higher self is trying to show you what you're capable of and to
Uh,
trust what you're receiving.
oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But
Does
there's
that mean
also
you could fly? You could fly, Sarah?
I wish I could, man.
Your
And the
flying
breathing
dreams?
underwater, like the dream I had
Yes.
a few nights ago, I could breathe underwater and it was great. I was just swimming and it was a lucid dream. It was just great. Um,
Yeah.
but one thing, like this is why like the shadow work or the soul work is super important because when you're doing that work, you're taking control of your mind, you're taking control of your thoughts and all of that, and you're bringing that power back to yourself instead of it being given away through so many avenues, which our power is given away in the constructs that we have. I mean, we're all guilty of scrolling social media at some point, but it is actually a form of control. The education system, the religious systems, all the systems are all infiltrated and they're all there to lock us into a particular place and to control us. The dream space, and this is a video, Billiana, the video I sent you earlier, this is the one you need to watch. um, it was amazing to watch because it highlighted how the dream space is the only, unless you're like fully awake and in control of yourself, the dream space is the only place where the soul is free. It gets to go outside of the constructs of where we are. But what that means is that they have a whole, like the darker forces have a whole arsenal of ways to manipulate and influence the dream space, to have us not remember our dreams, to throw things in there to throw off the true messages that are trying to come through, because they're trying to control us and to have us forget who we are. Because the moment you remember who you are, their system crumbles and they can no longer control you.
Yep.
Right.
Game over.
Yeah. And so that's
Right.
why taking control of your dreams really takes control of your life.
And taking control of yourself. So doing
Yeah.
that inner soul work, getting yourself into balance. See, I don't give my power away, taking your power back. You have, what bothers me is when I always say, people say it's a body, mind, and soul healing. They leave the heart out. Well, you build up a heart wall where you have trapped emotions. You build up a heart wall of emotions around your heart. Once you get that, sorry, my phone was going off. Once you get the heart wall down to zero, that's when you can start working on getting your heart and mind into alignment. When you do that, that means I think and I feel mean the same thing, because people, they separate it. I think is over here, I feel is over here. You bring them together, they mean the same thing. That means you're coming into alignment with yourself. You're trusting your gut, taking your power back, you're setting strong boundaries. All of that stuff comes together. So it's, yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't give my power. Like, I don't let none of that stuff. They're not going to control me.
Yeah.
No, I
It's
mean,
more so like the ego, Sarah.
oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, I think it's very clear that the three of us are on the same page in that, but I was just kind of saying it for the listeners who,
Oh,
who
yeah.
might not be fully
Yeah.
but they're on their journey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like when you're saying the think and the feel being one, a lot of people have put in their feeling into a safe and locked it away and like, no, it's no, I don't like it.
But what's
You know, when I was growing up, like, you weren't supposed to feel. It was all, what do you think? You know, what do you think? That was drilled into
Yeah.
our heads. So it's like you're having to bring everybody back on the bus. And then, like you guys said, like Sarah, like you said, with the social media, everybody's on a screen all the time, so nobody's thinking or feeling anything. So
yeah. And really what is thinking and feeling? That's the logic side and the intuitive side. So, and you have to bring those into balance. Yeah.
But most people, like when I work with people with coaching, some people can't even express how they're feeling. I had one client that the only thing this person could express was they felt frustrated. It took about 5 weeks before they could say if they felt angry or sad.
Yeah.
So
Suppress.
it's, I mean, yeah.
Have you thought about a course for like young people?
A course for young people?
Yeah.
Like for what?
Just for their own spiritual development. So just what the course
I
you're
thought my
doing, but
course
just
was
more.
literally for everyone. I didn't really think about for like young people, but I mean, I love working with kids. I I like with my coaching, honestly, like when I work with people in their 20s, like, you know, from like 21, 22 to, you know, later 20s, those I really love working with that age, because they get in there and they dig in and they do it. And of course, they don't have as much to do with, they have past lives and stuff, but not as intensely. I love working with all ages, but that age group, like, they really come in and just soak it up like a sponge, and they power through and they get done. And then, like, they take what they learn and they go, and that's the point of it. Like, you're not supposed to work with me forever. You're supposed to graduate and move on,
Yeah.
take what you learn, and then like evolve and see what speaks to you, and, you know, move on. So yeah, I would
Yeah. I think,
have to think
yeah.
about that. Like, because for what I did with my kids growing up, like the different things, you know, that I taught them about protecting their energy and all that, I have to be very careful, because, like, in these times that we're living in right now, everybody's so sensitive and worried about all that stuff. It'd have to be the right kind of people to have their kids sign up for a course like that.
Or teach parents to teach their kids.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I was
Yeah.
hoping with the spiritual
Yeah.
development course. They can take, because I make sure I say in there, like, this is what I taught my kids. This is how I taught my kids to do it, because it's a simple way for like everyone to learn. And then you can expand on it. Because my kids, when I
Yeah.
was working with them with the telepathy game, when they each come home from school, my son was in second grade and my daughter was in kindergarten, and they were hearing other people's thoughts. So then I had to have the talk with them about that was rude. You can't do that. There's an
Privacy is
appropriate
a
time to
thing.
do this. So,
Yeah, cool.
but
That's
yeah.
awesome. Like, once you get your course on your website, let us know, and I'll definitely. I'd love to share it with even
Okay.
my friends and family and stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool. And say that I'm not the only one in the fam like around that is interested in this stuff. There's other people.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Do you have any more dream related questions, Biliana?
No, I've just been enjoying what we're talking about. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
is there anything else you want to share, Angie, about dreams or your
No, and
insights or anything like that?
I'm sitting here and I guess I'm not supposed to share it because I was trying to think of the other dream that I was going to tell you guys about, and it didn't come back. So not meant to share it.
No, that's fine.
I remember it
So,
when I interview you guys, and I'll be like, "Hey, remember that time?"
Well, maybe some things are being left for your show.
We'll have plenty of stuff to talk about on my show. Like, we'll be talking forever.
Sounds good. I look forward to it.
yeah, yeah.
Um, is there anything on your heart, dream related, or anything related that you just would like our audience to know today? It's like this is one of the last things we like to ask. But what's on your heart?
What has really been plaguing me a lot lately is that I feel I feel very strongly about people doing the inner soul work, because I keep seeing so many people wanting to open their gifts, and they're going to all these different sources. Well, how do I meditate? I'm going to use this site, or I'm going to use this. I am so careful, and I've always been this way. I'm so careful with what I read, what I listen to, who I associate with, because you have to protect your energy. You have to protect what's coming into your energy. And I feel like, it's okay to want to open your gifts and all that. You have to do it the right way, and you can't skip steps. And it's really been bothering me a lot lately, where I've been seeing people that they're wanting to do work, they're wanting to do things out in the world, and that's great, but they're not prepared. They're not at a level to be able to do that yet. And it's I won't say it's frustrating. I think it's more disheartening than anything, because I feel like I'm talking to brick walls with, you know, different areas or different places. Why are you laughing, Billy, on it? Why are you
It just
laughing?
scared me. Scared me.
Scared you?
My dog.
Oh.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
like, uh-oh, what did I say? No, because I feel like, and I don't know. And I feel like, and I keep feeling like I'm supposed to work with people, but a lot of people are not prepared. And I'm not trying to say like I'm better or more evolved than anybody, because I'm not. I'm just saying, like, we are in a spiritual war right now, and I don't think people understand what that means. We are in the final battle, I feel. And I feel like it's time, and Rachel and I, we talk about this. It's an ascension. I know that's a new age word. I don't know another word for it. Cosmic, not cosmic, consciousness is rising. It's now. It's now for you to, do your soul work, to figure out your gifts, to open them up, to do what you're here to do. Because a lot of souls are going home.
Yeah.
And it's kind of we're to that point. You're either going to do the work, or you're going to go home, and you'll have to come back and do it again. So it's just, I don't know. I feel kind of frustrated. Like I said, I've been sitting up on Oracle Mountain.
Just like, come on, everybody, waiting
Oh, they're
here.
like waiting up here. I'm like, oh, come on. But
I'm so bored. Come on.
and I feel, like the last 5 years, I've been like, I was being a hermit, but I also feel like I kind of become like, I went like more like a monk, where I just went really within to even more like fine tune and hone, and like I did more soul healing on myself, because I'm like, I was just noticing some things like 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm like, I'm not liking how this is going. I'm still attracting energies that I shouldn't be attracting, and I'm not liking this. So I did more soul work, and I continued to do it. And I was working. I have notebooks. You'd laugh. Like, I have notebooks for days, but I had manifesting. I had paragraphs where I was very, like, precise with the words I was writing out. I'd write it out 3 times. I would say it, write it out 3 times, say it 3 times, do it, think it 3 times. So it was 3, 6, 9. This is what I've been doing for the last 5 years. And I don't think people understand this is like what I mean when I'm talking about doing that soul work to open your gifts and to elevate yourself to where we all need to be.
Mm.
So people probably think I'm crazy, but I don't care.
No.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like the end of the matter is there are gonna, like you said, there are some souls that are just gonna go home if they don't get there. But I'm fairly certain there's a whole lot of souls out there that are ready and to take those next steps. So I'm sure you've asked this, but maybe you just need to ask the universe or your guides, just send me the people. Send me the people who are ready. And
That's just it. Like, I have been sent the people and they're not listening. So then I'm like, I'm
well,
asking,
maybe you're not sent the right people.
well, that, or like, then I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm not being patient enough, or maybe I'm not being like, and so I have literally pulled my energy back from a
Yeah.
lot of people,
Oh.
because I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm not doing something right. And I've asked, like, maybe y'all need to touch me or something, like help me, like, have like some more knowledge or something to be able. But I have been thinking a lot lately, like maybe it's me, maybe, but maybe it is me. Maybe I always have felt like the black sheep. I've always felt like I'm over here, outside of everyone else. And maybe, and then I was thinking, maybe I've just worked too hard on myself, and I am literally over here, and I have to wait for everybody else to catch up. I don't know, because sometimes I feel like I talk over people's heads and I don't mean to, but
You're just talking to the wrong people.
yes, I guess. I
Yeah.
have, like, it was back in August of 2023 when I asked the universe to send me like-minded souls that were on my vibration or higher to learn from, to work with, and be friends with, to have like my soul family. And it was 6 months later when I started talking with Rachel. Like, I saw her interview on Emma's podcast, the Imagination podcast, I think it's called. And I saw Max Lowen, like Max and I have become good friends, and like Doug McIntyre, like all these people, they have come in, and I'm not talking about them in this scenario at all, because they're high vibrational souls and I love talking and working with them. It's other people that I have had come in to my energy, and I just feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm not doing something right. So,
Maybe you're working with them on a soul level, though, like maybe that's what you're doing when you're sleeping or dreaming, and you're kind of they're being sent to you, so you have that connection, and you're working with them on a soul level to get them ready in this reality. So
I need to like do some healing in my dreams or something with them to like help them
yeah,
elevate or something.
yeah, like, okay,
Yeah.
you're not ready for me yet. Here, we'll work in the dream space, do it, and then we'll come over here.
Yeah. Or it could be like it's showing you, like you've got Rachel coming in and Max coming in, but it's also you got the other people, and I feel like I've had this experience too. Maybe it's setting stronger boundaries for yourself, like you you've been shown the people that are good for you, and then there's the people that are not so good for you. Maybe having firmer boundaries is still something you need to work on. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
that's just
I
come
think
to
we
mind.
always need to work on our boundaries. Like,
Oh yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I took a huge, probably, I don't know, in April, I took a huge step back, like, from everything, because I was asking that same question, and I started reevaluating that, because I'm thinking, am I falling back into old patterns? Am I doing something wrong? Like, because I'm always, every day, like I was telling my mom this earlier, every day I like scan my body. Okay, is there anything left in my body that I need to heal? Because I'm medical intuitive too. So like I'm always like doing all of that. But then spiritual wise too, soul wise, emotional, mental, like spiritual, all of it. So I feel like maybe I'm too on top of it. Is it possible to be too on top of something?
I don't think so. That's kind of our goal, is to, you know,
Yeah.
go so far and then, hold our hand back to pull the others along the road.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. I know I haven't went through everything I went through for the past 16 plus years too, because it's felt like shaman soul trial kind of stuff. Like it hasn't been for nothing. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm supposed to teach others and help others, but right now it feels like people don't really want to be
But
helped.
remember that we're only halfway through our year of truth. So, maybe by the end of the year, then because people are still in the like, they're dealing with all the truth right now. They can't even do the soul work. They're just waking up to the reality of, well, shit, our systems are all infiltrated and everything is fucking controlled.
True. Because when Rachel and I did our live in March, like I was getting all of the predictions for that live, and it wasn't good for April and May. And even going into June, I was still seeing like the first 2 or 3 weeks of June was still going to be like the fallout from April and May. And I saw it like a big storm cloud sitting on both months. And that's pretty much how it's been. Saw a lot of souls going home, lots of deaths, like it's it's been very I never say this word right, but tumultuous. Like it's just
Mhm.
been very chaotic feeling too. And I just kept telling everybody, stay in the eye of the storm. And there was a couple of times in April, because I was going through like my own healing crisis and stuff physically, where I was like, what is wrong with me? And I felt myself being in the storm. And I'm like, whoa, how did I get over here? I've worked so hard to be in the eye of the storm. So I had to pull myself over in the eye of the storm. And it happened twice. So it doesn't matter how spiritually evolved you think you are, or how grounded you are, or how firm your boundaries are, it will still happen to you, like, so you have to be on top of things all the time. And it's like anything can happen. You have a death in the family, you have, you're going through something. You have to always ground, you have to always stay balanced, stay in your zone, protect your energy, because right now the energies are very chaotic. It's going to level out by the third week of June. I feel like this summer is going to be pretty calm. That's what I'm receiving for Rachel and I are doing a live in June, June 17th. That'll be the 18th for you guys in Australia. But come September, towards the end of September, going into October, is where we're going to have like this again in April and May.
Yeah, well, you'll have the 9 energy in September, right? End of a cycle. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And you've got
I
like
can't
those.
wait.
No, right. But I also think like what I've been stressing to people is like when you do that inner soul work, the more grounded, the more secure, and the more you've reached your soul roots, and you're raising your vibration and all of that, the better off you'll be in the fall. Because I kept trying to prepare people for this. It wasn't too bad, like I just had more because I added organic sulfur in, and it's been healing me at a cellular level, which has been good. But I had some stuff that came up from like 20 years ago. It was crazy, but it was cool what happened. Ooh, that was the dream I was going to tell you about.
Oh, there you go.
Look how that came back in. Woo, looky there.
We needed to
Uh,
have this little, and that's perfect. We needed to tie it back to dreams and close up the episode. So go, run with
see?
it.
Okay. So I started organic sulfur in March. And it's like the third most important mineral you need. And I use camo with it because you need to take it with vitamin C. So anyway, I I had interviewed Doug McIntyre, and I was brushing my teeth before I went to bed, and I injured with my electric toothbrush. I injured my mouth with my toothbrush, and so I woke up 2 days later, and my mouth was all swollen, huge, and then I had a lymph node that was huge under my armpit over here, and then it turned into a boil. Okay, which was crazy because I've never had a boil in my life. So then I had this dream where my grandmother is like the grandmother I was closest to. She was holding a baby, And my children were very little. I have a son and a daughter. They were very little in the dream. And I was standing there. And this is one of those times where I was staying there as me, but I was also looking through me in the dream. And my grandma was staying there and she was holding this little baby. And I was asking, all I kept asking, I was like, why are my kids so small? Why are my kids so little? So then I woke up and it was like one of those, it was like a dream visit, like my grandma was dream visiting me, but she was also giving me a message. So I couldn't figure out, this boil kept getting bigger and bigger underneath my arm. So I was watching Hulu, and I get it for like $1 a month because I have to watch the ads. I don't like watching the ads, but this Coke commercial came on and they had the Coke bottles on the commercial. And this girl goes to get the Coke bottles out of the fridge, and the names on the bottle were Sam and Ben. My son's name is Sam, and Ben would have been my daughter's name if she was a boy. Now, after my daughter was born, I had a miscarriage like 20 years ago, this last month, actually. And it was kind of traumatic because I had miscarried at a family member's house, and it was in the bathroom, and it was just, didn't realize what was happening and all that. I was about 8 weeks long. Didn't have time to process it. My kids were little. So, and I'd went to the doctor, all of that. So I just kind of put it on a shelf. And as Georgina has said, Georgina Grace, that when the 9 years come up, and we've had 9 years before, but this didn't ever come up. When 9 years come up, anything you've put on a shelf will come out to be dealt with. So that Coke commercial came back on again with those bottles. And I realized that dream, my grandmother was showing me the baby that I miscarried was boy, would have been named Ben. I'm gonna start crying. And so once I realized that and I put all the puzzle pieces together, I was telling my mom about it and I started crying. Do you know that boil went down 75%? And then I cried again and it went away totally. So
Wow.
the body keeps score, and the emotions are tied to the physical as well as the mental and spiritual. But like, is that not crazy?
That's amazing.
No, no.
And it's
I have stories about stuff like that, which we can talk about another time. But yeah, like that's amazing.
yeah, and
Yeah. Wow.
it's the power, what you've just shared is the power of messages that can come through your dreams to highlight things that you need to work on, but then also that messages can come through in waking days, even as something as simple as a Coke, as a Coke commercial, and it's up to the individual to be aware and to be able to notice these messages, or they'll just go by.
Yep.
How many people watch that Coke commercial and that would mean absolutely nothing to them? But it's actually kind of intense that like that the names are the names of your children, right? Like,
I mean, really, of all the names on the bottle, she picks those two bottles out. And I was kind of taken aback by it. And I'd had that dream with my grandma and I started putting the puzzle pieces together. And then, when I cried and the boil took it, because the boil was getting big, guys, I was getting kind of nervous because I was thinking, I don't go to the doctor or anything. And I'm thinking, oh, Lord, am I going to have to go to the doctor? And my mom, she's a retired RN. And she's like, well, I could lance it or whatever. I'm like, no, you're not doing that. So, but it went away once I cried and I put all the puzzle pieces together. It went down 75%. And then when I cried again, it went away. Of course, I will say this too. I was putting coconut oil and tea tree oil on it, but that was the big thing that made it go away, was the crying and putting all the puzzle pieces together. So amazing.
Yeah.
the body holds on to energy, emotions
Yes.
that need to be released.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So.
Oh, this is a good episode.
A good one. It was like, oh, so amazing.
Oh, too funny. Well, we already asked you the final question, which was if there's anything on your heart. So I don't know. I don't have anything else to say to you, Biliana. I don't know how to
No,
end
just
this. Like, I kind of don't want to end it, but I also have to go to bed soon. So,
no, just thank you for coming on and being you,
yeah,
because that's all we need in this world is just people to be themselves. So thank you for being you.
Thank you for having me. You
no,
guys have made it very easy to be here. It's just exactly like you said it was, like chatting at a coffee shop.
it's all it is, except I don't drink coffee, but
I have
uh,
one cup today.
yeah. Well, thank you, Angie. Thank you so much for being here, and we definitely look forward to being on your spiritual live chat coming up in a month from now.
July 12th, you guys will be on and we'll promote it, and it's live. So anybody that wants to join live, so you can ask questions to Billiana and Sarah, we'll have a Zoom link that we send out.
Beautiful. And don't
Yeah.
forget our live episode that is coming up on June 7th in North America in the evening around 6:30 Eastern time. And that is at 8:30 a.m. in Australian Eastern time on
Yes.
June 8th. Got the dates good on that one. Thank you to
Yeah.
thank you again, Angie. Thank you to all of our listeners. This podcast doesn't happen without your support. We're very grateful and thankful to all of our supporters so far, and we hope this episode resonated with you. It definitely resonated with us. And as always, everyone, please keep on dreaming.